Yet another deadlock in months of talks between the government and the Nigeria Labour Congress over the looming strike. The NLC says none of its demands has been implemented by the government, but it remains open to further discussions before the deadline in 10 days. Arise correspondent Punariman Benjamin tells us more.
The NLC had threatened to embark on an indefinite strike beginning on September 21, citing the failure of the government to meet its demands, mainly stemming from its policy of petrol subsidy removal. This threat prompted the government to call for talks to address the demands in order to forestall an imminent strike, one that has the potential to cripple an already ailing economy. But the negotiation seems to have stalled as both parties couldn't come to an agreement on the terms brought to the table. The union says the Ministry of Labour's mediation efforts are yet to make a headway, as most of their demands have not been addressed by the federal government.
I fully acknowledge and appreciate the invaluable role the NLC plays in championing for the rights and welfare of our workers. Your dedication and tireless advocacy have been critical in shaping a fair and inclusive work environment and ensuring the well-being of our workforce. We acknowledge the valid grievances that have fueled the recent labor crisis, and we are committed to addressing them in a just and equitable manner.
The NLC president also faulted the arrest by the police and the continued detention of the president of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW. On the part of the Labour Ministry, officials say there is a need for more time to work out how best to meet the demands of workers.
The issue of NURTW was clearly stated there, and it was at a time that the situation had not degenerated the way it degenerated today, and we forewarned, and then that was why we equally had to bring it along with others. On the other issues, you can see that there's no agreement on any or no implementation. There's no CNG anywhere. The refineries are not working. Wage award, transfer, there are also issues. So those are issues we believe that between now and the next few days when the ultimatum will expire, that something will happen. So, and it's possible that something could happen. So that is where we are. The ultimatum is that if this thing doesn't happen on the so-so date, ABCD will happen. The ministry has performed its role to mediate and conciliate in the problem between us and the federal government.
In what looks like a divided union, the Trade Union Congress was absent from this meeting. However, the last meeting organized by the Labour Ministry had in attendance only the Trade Union Congress, with the Nigerian Labour Congress being absent. Despite the ongoing negotiations between the government and labour unions, analysts say the negotiation table may not prevent the looming strike, as the NLC is insisting on having all of its demands met, giving little or no room for further compromise. Punariman Benjamin, Arise News.
Right, Dr. Bati, your take on all of this.
We discussed this same subject yesterday.
Yes.
When it was reported that organized labor was going to meet with officials of the Ministry of Labor and Employment. And we were optimistic that perhaps something will come out of that meeting. They did meet, and that's the report by Arise News correspondent Punariman Benjamin. Now, the report is that the meeting ended in a deadlock. Minister of Labor and Employment, Minister of State, Labor and Employment, Simon Lalong and Ikeruka Onyejocha met with labor leaders led by Joe Ajero, president of the NLC. Well, if you look at the full text of the minister's speech, it was, again, basically, as he did ahead of the September 5 to 6, warning strike, as they called it. It was basically appealing to them again to say, let's have open and constructive dialogue, allow the government to settle down. With time, government will address many of the issues, and it went on and on and on. But I found the response by Joe Ajero even more instructive, because the president of the NLC was telling the ministers that, look, we are here out of mixed feelings. We have had so many meetings, and there was some point in that regard. They've had so many meetings back and forth with the government. They made their demands. Government said they will set up committees and subcommittees. And his point was that, look, for more than a month, for more than 2 months, nothing has happened. Government has not even tried to respond to any of the demands of organized labor, which he restated. The CNG, wage, addressing the issues of wage, arrears, allowances, education, minimum review of minimum wage, and the government has not done anything in any of these respects. And they were convinced, as labor leaders, that government was being insincere. And that was the deadlock that the papers are reporting this morning. So they have had another meeting, nothing concrete came out of it. But the Labour president then pointed out that, well, if they invite them to more talks, they will come. But at the bottom line is that they want those issues that organized labor has put on the table in the interest of the Nigerian people who are living in difficulty, facing high cost of living, confronted with inflation rate of 25.8%, food inflation in some states rising up to over 39%, and that rhetoric will not solve the problem. Endless meetings will not be the way out. Even the issue of refineries, according to Joe Ajero, no clarity in that regard, just promises upon promises upon promises, and appeal to let's have open and constructive dialogue. However, the deadline that organized labor gave in their statement on September 1 was a 21-day notice, and that will be within this week. So if nothing concrete comes out in the next 48 hours, would labor go on what he calls total and indefinite strike? And I think I made a point yesterday, if that happens, then it's everyone that will be affected. Look at the implications in terms of the cost. Look at the implications in terms of productivity. Look at the implications in terms of, the hardship that Nigerians will further face. I think it's important for government. It's good that the various parties are sitting at the negotiation table, but it's also important for government to put something concrete on the table. They've, in many of the states, they are distributing palliatives, bags of rice. One bag of rice to 12 people. I don't know how many days that would take, 12 people, or how they will share it, And in some of the states, we've heard about, people being beaten up, in those states. Although I hear that Mr. Awolumate, the world chairman in Okiagbe, who decided to go physical with the Commissioner for Women Affairs, will be made to face the full wrath of the law. But, that's the kind of situation we face. The people are so distressed, they will beat people up because of a Congo of rice. So all of this will have to be addressed, in my view.
Okay, why are we where we are today? We are here because of the bad faith of government, and which is very instructive. If government campaigned on the need to be able to make the lives of Nigerians better, and is reneging on its campaign promise, we should be able to call out the government. Pure and simple. The government said subsidy gone without putting things in place for the people. Labor is making demands. At first, for a couple of months, the government did not even attend to the meetings and the needs of labor. Now, they are trying to do a palliative meeting to be able to end the strike that labor had called for a while. We are going back in circles. Yesterday, I called it a staccato movement. Today, it's worse than that. The Nigerian workers are constantly suffering. The demands of labor never shifted. Fix local refineries. The president said the other day that we're going to fix local refineries before December, that Port Harcourt should be on stream. We're waiting for December. Everybody touted a refinery, a private refinery was going to start at some point to cushion the effect on the people. We've seen nothing yet. And the pain continues for a lot of Nigerians. Life is harder by the day. People hardly go on the street. They can't buy fuel any longer. $94 per barrel now. At some point, the government will have to pay subsidy. Maybe it's already paying subsidy and it's not telling the people. So trust is a big problem. And when you have the problem of trust, then it becomes a zero-sum game, and the people are the biggest losers in all of this. I don't know the magic government will have to perform. Probably infiltrate the ranks of labor, take them to court like they did the last time. But yes, you might whittle down the influence of the strike, but it doesn't mean the problem has been solved. So since the announcement of President Tinubu in May, that subsidy gone, we've seen how our lives have gone worse off. And we've seen how all the economic policies have gone. Higher inflation, the convergence of the currencies will bring in a lot of problems. That's why we have a government. They must look for a way to fix the problem. Nigerians are waiting. Because in all of this, the government is still appointing more aides. And we say we don't have money to cut the cost of government. We are saying, oh, salary wage is quite bloated, 3.8 trillion. But you're still having a lot of aides. You're having a cabinet of close to 50 ministers. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Let us build this government and this country to truly serve the interests of the people. To Edo State, where tensions between the governor and deputy governor have erupted again. Earlier today, Philip Shaibu, the deputy governor, earlier yesterday, I should say, was locked out of his office at Government House in Benin. Shaibu was accompanied by security aides, waited for hours for answers as to why his office was locked with chains and padlock. Last week, civil servants and other government appointees of the deputy governor were evicted through a notice forwarded to the permanent secretary, office of the governor. Shaibu has said in previous interview that he has not yet received a notice.
I am Nashi. I come office now, and and the gate is locked. I am padlocking the gate thing. Then padlock the gate. I'm padlocking the gate thing, the chain and key. Both the outer gate and the inner one, they padlock and chain it. The governor said they should lock it. That they are using the office for something else. I have not moved to anywhere. Nobody has given me letter to move to anywhere. Nobody has given me letter. So if governor say I have moved, I have not moved. I have not moved. The governor did not give me letter. Nobody has given me letter to move. So how will I move out of my office? I'm here now, the gate is locked and padlocked. So maybe, I don't know. So I call the governor, is not picking. So you call the governor that I didn't move because I didn't get any letter to move. Only the civil servant got letter to move. I'm told that the civil servant were given letter from the office of HOS to move out of this place. But me, I didn't get any letter to move. So I'm here. They should come and open the gate, please. And call the governor that I'm at the gate. They should please come and open the gate.
Another drama in Edo.
Well, I mean, this is old story, compelling many commentators to say that perhaps what we need to do is to take a second look at the position of the deputy governor, so that deputy governors will no longer be treated as spare tires, and they have specific functions and responsibilities under the Constitution, apart from, just being somebody waiting on the sidelines who can take over under the purview of Section 191 of the Constitution if the governor is not available either for reasons of death, permanent incapacitation, or ill health, or resignation, or for whatever reason. Because we've been having this crisis, since the return to democratic rule in 1999. That's number one point. The second point, however, is that it's very obvious that the relationship between the governor of Edo State, Governor Obaseki, and also his deputy governor has collapsed. And what is the issue? Complaints about disloyalty, that the deputy governor is disloyal to the governor. And ironically, the two of them used to have very good working relationship. But as reported, Philip Shaibu, also wants to be governor. And the governor says, no, it's not the turn of your senatorial zone, it has to go to another person. And we've seen, in the media how this has degenerated to this level. Number 3, however, is that the way they are going about it, it's looking really very untidy. First, the governor needs to be reminded that, it's a joint ticket. They both run a joint ticket. Section 187 about the nomination of a deputy governor, that's Section 187 of the 1999 Constitution, says that, look, a man who wants to be governor must have an associate who will occupy the position of a deputy governor. So it's a joint ticket. And we saw that in the case of Yeremengio in Bayelsa State, where as a result of the qualifications of a deputy governor, that ticket was turned adrift by the court of law. Now, number 4 is that in this particular case, the governor, through the SSG, had said the deputy governor's office should be moved to the GRA. But Uriwa, I recall Uriwa said, where they moved the deputy governor to, it was a place in front of a latrine water. So technically, maybe the deputy governor does not like the place, so he now went to the governor's office, which had been the location of his office, and it was locked out. Okay? He was not allowed to enter. The version of the governor's people is that the deputy governor came there to come and physically attack the governor. A situation whereby a deputy governor will physically attack a governor. Well, not that it hasn't happened before. After all, in one country, the president slapped one of his ministers. Now, that's why I say it's very untidy. And the people that are shortchanged are the people of Edo State. Yeah. If the governor and the deputy governor are not working together and their staff are divided, then there is a serious problem. It means that, not enough attention is being paid to the priorities that the two-man team should pay attention to because they are no longer working together as a team. One other point is the role of the security agencies in this matter. All the security agents around are saying, we are working on directives from the governor. We are following order from above. Okay, it's curious now that in Edo State, the governor is giving orders from above. But if it is an attack on a community in Edo State that requires security response, the same security people will say, well, we take orders from Abuja. The governor cannot give us orders. But in this particular case, they are allowing themselves to be used to, to play politics, to cause, to promote division between the governor and the deputy governor. So these are some of the contradictions. I hope they still have, elder statesmen in that Edo State who can call these two gentlemen, Governor Baseki and Philip Shaibu, to order that their job is to serve the people, not to be serving us ugly drama all the time, locking people out of office. If the governor wants to impeach the deputy governor, he will need the concurrence of the State House of Assembly. And that can only be done under sections 187 and 188 and 189 of the 1999 Constitution. But they will have to accuse him first of gross misconduct. So I don't know whether this will amount to gross misconduct, but I think, look, they can spare us this drama and allow Edo State to move forward.
I think for the watchers of the drama, they're having a field day because, like some people say, Nigeria is like a seasoned film, especially the political drama. So this is the other installment in the political drama. I will dial back even further. These same two actors were the best of friends. Governor Obaseki at a point said Mr. Shoaibu was my ride or die when he left the APC because he couldn't get a ticket there to go to the PDP. And at some point he was told to sacrifice his deputy governor, part of political conversation anyway. We can't say as a matter of substantial proof, but part of political conversations, which are anecdotal in nature. But he held on and he said, it is me and my deputy governor. And they forged ahead and they built a formidable partnership and they did something unthinkable. They got back their time with another political party. The question we should ask them is, what did they promise each other? Was there any time or amongst them a promise was made? That's between both parties. Because all of this that is playing out, pure as simple, is because who will be the next governor. The deputy governor says he wants to be the next governor. The governor, incumbent governor, is probably not in support of it. And the deputy governor has been going out there to try his best possible, and he's been rebuffed. Then the deputy governor went ahead, said, oh, he thought they were going to impeach him. He took a case to court. He since brought that case out. And the governor said, okay, you do all of this to me. You betrayed me. Then I will go for your jugular. So two of them are fighting over a state that has its own challenges. Two of them are fighting because of power that is transient. Very soon, the Edo people will make their choice. Whoever they will vote in will not spend more than 8 years on that seat. But the question is the life of the people better as a result of governance? That question is one question no politician has been able to answer in the history of Nigeria. Do life actually get better? If lives got better, are we still going to be talking about the likes of them Ambrose Ali as reference points? Are we still talking about the likes of them Samu Bakwe as reference points? Are we still supposed to be talking the likes of Lateef Jakonde as reference points? So all of this is just a part of the drama. If you remember, Dr. But one part of the drama was the church incident, where the deputy governor wanted to go greet the governor, was rebuffed at church. Then another incident was
security people.
Yeah, by security people. Then another incident was the Midwest anniversary incident. Midwest referendum anniversary incident. Now is another one. The question is, when next is the next installment in this drama going to come? I'm sure Nollywood people are taking note. But in all of this, it just hurts me that the Edo people that kept on shouting 4+4 are their lives any better in all of this. And that's why I'm sorry I don't take politicians too seriously. Yes, by my job I need to analyze them, but I don't take them too seriously. Because really, and at the end, it's about themselves. I would like to tell these two actors, the governor and the deputy, let the people of Edo breathe. Isn't this drama enough for the people? And maybe, like you said, Dr. Abati, it's time to start having elections for what they call lieutenant governors in America, in Nigeria, where the deputy governor too is voted in, just like the governor too is voted in. But will that solve the problem anyway? It's a winner-take-it-all mentality politics we have in this country.